Are you guys ready for part 3? This is my third and final installment of my How to Open a Retail Store series. This is it, guys. I don't think you guys want to see any more of this, but today we're going to be talking about your inventory and how to collect your money, which is like the most important part of all of this. So let's not waste any time and jump right into the video. Hey there, beautiful people. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thank you for clicking on the video. This is part 3 of how to open a retail store. It's a series. This is part 3, the last and final episode. If you didn't catch part 1 and part 2, it's probably a good idea, if you're just clicking on me for the first time, to go back and watch part 1 and part 2. There's a ton of valuable information in there, and that kind of leads up to this process. But if you are not new here, you're already existing subscriber and you watch part 1 and part 2, then you have seen the journey. And in real life, the store has been open and operating for about 2 months, a little bit shy of 2 months, and it has been such an experience, such a learning experience. It's been just crazy, and there's something new to learn every single day, and I'm always trying to think of new ways to market the business, and it's kind of like a never-ending thing. So I could have made this literally like a 15-part series, but that would be absolutely ridiculous. So I figured I would end it here, and if any of you guys had any specific questions, you can always just book a consultation call with me or send me an email, and we can talk one-on-one about what's going on specifically with you and your location. All right, and if you want to get in touch with me, all of my contact information is below in the description box, so feel free to use it. As always, guys, you know I always ask you to please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy my videos, and support my little video thing that I put out. I know I'm not the best editor or the best videographer, but I try my very best, and if you subscribe, it lets me know that you support the channel and you enjoy my content. While you're down there, please hit the notification bell so you can get notified every time I post, and feel free to share my videos with anyone that you think could benefit from the content. Let's get into this chat about inventory now. So generally, for the majority of industries in retail, there will always be distributors, manufacturers, or wholesalers where you can buy your inventory or things for your store at wholesale prices, and they're not very difficult to find. So Google in this type of process is going to be your best friend. So if you go onto Google and you search for clothing manufacturers or clothing wholesalers in your state or city, a bunch of things will come up, and it's really just up to you to do your homework, vet these distributors, these wholesalers, or even the manufacturers to make sure they have the items that you want. A lot of times these distributors, they'll ship to you depending on the amount that you're purchasing. Sometimes they'll deliver to you depending on where you are in the state in relation to where they are. A lot of times you'll find a situation where they're going to ship to you, sometimes at a cost, and sometimes depending on how much you're spending with them, they'll waive the shipping fee. So make sure to ask for that. And like I said, there's literally something for everyone. So really, depending on what your retail store is selling, you can look for that particular category of goods, do a search for it, /wholesaler/distributor, and 9 times out of 10 you're gonna find a company that is doing this at wholesale. And once you've narrowed down a list of wholesalers or distributors that you'd like to work with, and I usually recommend you select more than one, because you're gonna want several that you have in your repertoire or your Rolodex. I don't know if anybody still uses a Rolodex, but yeah, I'm that old. Put Rolodex down in the comments if you still have a Rolodex. But yeah, you're gonna want several different distributors or wholesalers that you can turn to for your products and goods. One as your main and maybe a few as backup, just depending on what's going on. So once you've narrowed down your list and you'd like to initiate a relationship with them, go ahead and reach out to them directly. You're going to have to set up a wholesale account with many of the distributors that you reach out to. Some of them are not very strict about it. They technically need to be, but others are going to be very strict, and they're going to want a lot of your corporate and company information before they go ahead and allow you access to their distribution warehouse or give you access to their catalogs or websites. Some of the most important documents that you're going to need to set up your wholesale account include your articles of organization from your Secretary of State, which you should have gotten if you already formed your business, and you're also going to need your reseller's permit / wholesale license / business tax receipt. And if you are a specialty retail, like in my case, I'm a tobacco and smoke and vape shop, we also needed to provide our tobacco license and our hemp permit as well to some of the wholesalers to make sure that they were in compliance with what they needed to be in compliance with in order to sell to us. They're not supposed to charge you taxes, so that's the benefit of having your reseller slash wholesaler slash business tax receipt available. And if you don't know how to get that, please go back and watch part 2 because I went over it in that video and it's linked for you here in the cards. Okay, so now online distributors versus local and physical distributors. I personally have a mix of them. Again, I'm still learning, but I have a nice mix depending on what sort of products I'm looking for the stores. For my local distributors, I really like them because I can actually go to their location, I can look at the products, I can touch, feel it, I can actually build a relationship with my salesperson or my sales rep, sometimes even the owner, and I'm able to walk around, see what's new, get a good idea of what they have and see where they're located. So that's the benefit of working with a local distributor. There are online distributors that I use as well. Sometimes you can't really establish a really close relationship with them because everything is electronic, but generally you're typically assigned a salesperson for your region. So if you can, reach out to that salesperson, try to build a relationship with them, let them tell you what's new, what's coming out. This works in your benefit because if they can work on pricing for you because they like you or have a relationship with you, they're absolutely going to do it to get the sale. So sometimes being a little bit nice to your distributors and your salespeople will help you on the back end with your pricing and actually getting things before everyone else does. So I have a good relationship with a distributor here locally. The sales guy is really, really awesome. Shout out to Richard from Divine. He's my absolute favorite. But he lets me know via text whenever they have new stuff coming in. He'll let me know like, hey, I didn't release this yet, but this is coming in. We're expecting it on Friday. What do you want to do? This is a really good seller. He lets me know and then I can make my decision from there. But it's really great to have that, you know, back and forth, even a text relationship with the sales team, so they can really take care of you and get your store on the up and up, knowing what's coming out, what's popular at other stores. You can kind of pick their brain about retail pricing so you can compete with your competitors and kind of be in the know, because sometimes when you're in your shop, you're in your own little bubble, and it's a good and bad thing. I mean, you're focused in here, but you don't always know what's going on at other shops. So it's good to kind of have your feelers out working with the distributors because they're likely selling to your competitors as well. So you kind of want to know, what are your competitors buying? What are they charging? Things like that. And it's not always readily available, that information. So once you have an in, you know what I'm saying, you can start picking for information, and 9 times out of 10, if you're nice, they'll, you know, give you the intel. But with all of that said though, you want to make sure that you always keep your eye out for better prices. So if you are working with a distributor, manufacturer, wholesaler, whatever you want to call it, and you're paying one price for something and you find another distributor that's selling it for relatively cheaper and you can probably get a good deal with that distributor, you might want to entertain the thought of moving to that distributor for that particular item to save you some money in the long run. Another approach that you can use is letting your main distributor know, hey, I found these products at a better price point than you guys are selling it. Are you willing to match? And usually they're willing to match because they want to keep the business. So even though their margin will be a little bit smaller, they've retained you for the business. It's better to get your 5 cents than no cents at all, right? Make sure you keep shopping around. Make sure that you always keep your eye out for better deals, because at the end of the day, your margins are what's important, and that's how you make your money. So don't just buy across the board because you like that particular company. Make sure that you're always checking your prices. Okay, so now that you have found your distributors, you have established your relationship with them, you've opened your accounts, and you've decided what you wanted to purchase, and you've gone ahead and purchased it, they should be shipping things to you periodically all at once, or you can pick up, they can drop off, however you want to do it. The point is your inventory will be coming in. Once your inventory comes in now, there is a process. Don't just take it and put it on the shelf. You need to check your invoice against everything that comes into your inventory. I know It's a lot of work. I stayed here till 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning checking our boxes of inventory just to make sure that every single dollar that I spent was accounted for, every single item that I purchased was here in the store. And that's important because if you're not checking your inventory, not only are you wasting money, but you also run the risk, especially if you have workers, of people stealing. I hate using that word, but it happens, right? And when you're running a store, these are things that you need to keep in mind, because every item that goes out that door that's not accounted for is money out of your business's pocket. So you want to start this process of inventory control as soon as your items come in. So you're going to take your invoice and your box of items that came from that particular distributor, and you're going to check each item off as you take it out of the box. If you ordered 10 widgets, you're gonna make sure that you have 10 widgets in whatever colors that you ordered them in and check it off. You're also gonna make sure that the pricing that you paid was the pricing that you were quoted. Sometimes when you're buying in bulk, they'll charge you for like, I don't know, like a package of 10. And then your job is basically to divide the number that you got and figure out what you paid per unit, okay? Because that's what you're gonna use to mark up and decide your retail pricing. So at this point, if there's any discrepancy in your order with what you have on the invoice, you're definitely gonna have to make note of it, put those items aside, and contact your distributor right away so they can reconcile it. If you're missing items, they're gonna wanna double check. They'll likely send you the additional items. If you've been overcharged, they may give you a credit, but don't wait a long time to reach out to the distributor. Contact them as soon as you can so they can reconcile it and all of your books and everything can match up, all right? If everything checks out in your inventory, you have all of your items in, you're going to want to collect as much data about your inventory as possible. You're going to want to keep track of every single item that comes into your shop. You guys know I love an Excel sheet. I adore Excel. It might be old school. I know a lot of point of sale systems actually have their own inventory management software built into it, but I still use Excel. I put in the item, the actual product, how many we have in the store, the color variations, what I paid for it per unit, and what I'm gonna price it at retail, what I'm gonna charge my customers for that item. So not only does that help you get an idea of you know, what you're paying per unit, it shows you your whole inventory at a very high level once everything is put in. I also include what distributor I got it from. So if I'm ever low on a particular item, I can go back to my Excel sheet and I can say, oh my God, I got it from this distributor. Let me reach out to them and put in another order. So I love the Excel sheet for that. It's just easy to use. I can print it out. I can take it with me. Once it's in Excel, you can upload it to your point of sale system. It's very, very easy to take that data and shift it around. Data is your friend. As much data as you can collect about your pricing and the things that you're buying and the frequency, the better off you're going to be, because you're going to be able to use that to complete any sort of analysis you want to down the line. It's great to have the data. I always say it's better to have more data than less data, but I'm also a nerd, so do what you want, but this is just what has been working for us this far. So this leads me into my next talking point, which is about your point of sale system / your register / the way that you're going to collect your money, because that's why we're all in this, right? To make money, duh. So we use the Clover Mini here in the store. It was good for our shop. It was the right solutioning for what we have going on in our retail store, but there are a ton of other options. You don't have to use Clover. There are other point of sale systems that are very similar. I think Square also has one, depending on what you're selling or what you're retailing. You can go through Square. There are a ton of other companies that have very similar systems and have very similar functionality. My Square system, I got the mini one. I did the swivel. I like the ability of having the tap and pay and allowing the customers to enter in their own pins, sign, and decide if they want their own receipt or not. It gives them the control. I don't have to touch their card, anything like that. My system also has a barcode scanner. The Clover has an app that you can use to assign UPC codes to items that don't have a barcode. So I really, really like that, especially for the smoke shop, because a lot of items don't come with a barcode. So that's another reason why I like Clover. You can run all kinds of reports through there. You can also manage your payroll. You can track your employees' clock in, clock out time. You can see exactly what you're supposed to be getting deposit it into your bank account versus what you have cash in the till. Now I also got a cash drawer because we do cash here as well. It's totally up to you if you're going to be an all cash business, all card business. I like cash because cash is king. I don't have to pay any sort of merchant fees on that. If you are in the market for a register or point of sale system, I worked with All American Payments. They're a company that I recommend. Work with them personally. I left their contact information below. Reach out to them. They can help you through the process of getting a whole point of sale system and also helping you get a merchant account so you can take credit cards, tap and pay, etc. So do a search. Again, you don't have to use Clover, but contact All American Payments and see what they can offer you. If you're not comfortable with that, do a quick Google search. There's tons of companies out there that can get you set up depending on what exactly you're selling. Now, if you're wondering what the difference between your merchant account and your regular bank account is, I think I talked about it in another video. I'll link it here, but that was really dealing with high risk. But the principle is still the same. The concept is still the same. It's going to be like a two-layered process. So you have your bank and your operating account, but in order for you to collect credit card payments and do tap and pay or debit card payments, you're going to need a merchant processing account that is related to a bank, and they're going to help to process the credit cards and collect it on behalf of your business. So what they do is they collect it into your merchant account, they take out their fees or whatever it is, the magic that they need to do, and then they send it into your bank account at the end of the day or the next day. So it's a two-layered process. Your merchant account doesn't have anything to do with your bank account aside from them depositing your payments in there and taking out their fees from your bank account. So think about it like that. It's two-tiered. If you were just doing all cash, you probably wouldn't need a merchant account, but if you're going to be taking credit cards, you're going to need that set up. And like I said, hit up All American Payments if you need more information. All right, so here are some other random tips for you for your store. If you have a restaurant depot in your city, by all means, please go and open up an account with them. It should be free. You can even do it online, I think. They have really good like little things for your store, like sometimes they have signage, generic open signs, closed signs. Home Depot also has that, but Restaurant Depot also has like, you know, little plastic bags for your customers for when they make their purchases. If you're using like customized bags, then obviously that doesn't apply to you, but they have like cute little things that you could use, random things for your shop, paper towel, toilet paper, cleaners, the bulk cleaners and stuff that you would need for your shop. Check them out. It doesn't hurt to have the card just in case you need it. Things for your employee lounge, snacks, etc., etc. Even things like extra little things that you want to sell in your store. Like for instance, we sell gum and some candies, lollipops too, and we buy them there at wholesale, and we don't pay tax because of the reseller's permit, just to have it in the store as like extra little things people can, you know, grab and go. So Restaurant Depot is a good one. Costco's and BJ's is also your friend as well, because of course you can get a ton of things in bulk from them. Canva for doing your business cards, designing your flyers. I use them to design my postcards, and then I went to the post office and had the post office send it out to as many people as they could in my zip code. But having a graphic designer design it for you and having them do everything, it costs a little bit more. Canva, it was basically bare bones pricing. I just paid for the cards. Okay, and then Amazon for like your outdoor flags, your generic banners. Like we have a giant smoke shop sign that's flying out here in front of the plaza. They were great for that. I think it was like $60. Little banners for the frontage of your store, like the grand opening sign, yes we are open sign. Like Amazon is great for that if you cannot find it at Restaurant Depot, but 9 times out of 10 you probably can. So if you need like retail displays, OfferUp and Let Go are going to be your best friends. For my particular store, I bought some of my display cases in pairs, but what I did was literally I went on to OfferUp, I went on to Let Go, and I looked for this glass display cases, and a bunch of used ones came up, and a lot of them were in really good condition. You might have to touch up here and there, but generally people are not going to notice. Obviously, if you want something really special, you probably have to Google a manufacturer that sells them brand new for specifically what you're looking for. But that's a great place to start if you're just looking for like used displays to kind of get you up and running, and you're good with, you know, fixing little things here and there. Obviously the other types of retail and merchandising things that you'll need for your store will really depend on what you're selling. If you're looking for mannequins, those are all out there. Other types of retail displays, slat wall, even lighting and coolers and fridges, all sorts of things are available on OfferUp and Let Go, so start there. Even Craigslist to a certain extent, but I know there's so many scams on that site, I didn't even bother. I just stayed with OfferUp and Let Go. I actually went to see the item and I did a cash deal with them, so I didn't send any money by Zelle. That's another tip. Use checks as much as you can when working with your wholesalers and your vendors. Even when you're buying your retail displays and stuff, see if you can use a check, a PayPal, or even cash if it's cash and carry and you're just taking it with you. I try to avoid Zelle at all costs, just because, well, one, according to the banks, you're not supposed to be using it to send money to vendors, but I know people still do that all the time. But the issue with Zelle is if you send the money's gone, it's sent. So if there's a problem, you have a really difficult time getting your money back. With a check, you can always stop payment on a check. The bank actually has a record of the transaction and could do a little bit more for you in the event that something goes wrong. And the same thing goes for PayPal. So even if you wanted to send an electronic payment through PayPal, choose to do it that way, because it gives you an extra layer of protection and a way of recourse should something go awry, okay? Or cash if it's cash and carry, but I usually don't want to do cash and I don't want to do Zelle. Like, miss me with the bullshit, take the check and get out of my face. Okay guys, this is the end of the video and the end of how to open a retail store series. I'm so glad that you guys joined me on this journey. Thank you so much for your support, all of your well wishes, all of your just good vibes and good juju. I'm here. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me. All of my contact information is below. Please be a little kinder on the text messages. I can't always answer all of you guys in real time. I promise that I will get to you when I can. Feel free to email me. I love you guys so much. I will see you on the next video. I think the next one I'm gonna go back to my trademarking and business stuff, but let's see what we do next week. All right guys, see you on the next video. Have a great one in the meantime. Peace.